everyone, Joshua Hanlon, and today I'm in Minneapolis, Minnesota at the new Brickmania store, and I'm joined by Dan Siskin. He's going to show us around the whole new store and talk about their new operations here and what they have going on. So thanks so much for joining me, Dan.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
For sure. So we're standing outside right now. Let's just start with what we have right here before we go inside.
So we're in an old building. It's kind of hard to see from the street, but as soon as you walk in off the street, you can see our front door. You can't miss it. You're at the Brickmania. It's sort of a warehouse store gallery. So we're located in the building where the Brickmania Toy Works was, and still is. We still do our headquarters here, but opposite of the building, we have this really cool gallery space. And you can't miss it. You can see it as soon as you walk in from the street, bam, here you are. So come on in.
Awesome.
Let's go inside.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So here's inside the whole store. You can see the first thing that catches your eye right here off the bat is the Missouri, which I think we've shown in several videos in the past. So for people who haven't seen that, definitely make sure to look at our more in-depth videos on that display.
Right, the USS Missouri is here permanently on display. We have like a scavenger hunt that's established on the Missouri. This is the world famous First Avenue nightclub. Built this, we did a little set a couple years ago for First Avenue and decided to do a whole tribute, like a minifig scale. So First Avenue, of course, is the club made famous by the movie Purple Rain. Which is like a big part of the Minneapolis, especially since Prince has passed away, it's become a real, like, he's a hometown hero, and it's a real point of pride in the city. So this piece is actually going to be going into a museum for a while, then we're donating it to First Avenue.
That's really neat, yeah.
And of course, Brickmania does put out products. It's our number one thing that we do is we make custom sets from Lego pieces, do a lot of military history stuff that Lego just won't do because of their company policies, or they're just it's too sensitive an issue for them to do in Europe, for example. So we do a lot of World War II historical stuff, modern day, and this is of course the main showroom for all of our kits. In this display case, it's new releases. All the upper shelves are all new kits, and the bottom shelf is featuring models out of our latest book. So if you didn't you're not following us that close, we do release instruction books of our kit. So if you have a lot of pieces of your own, you can make your own models using your own bricks, and the instruction books will tell you how, and then have the sticker sheets to make them just like the kits that they originally were.
Perfect.
And of course, here's more of our current releases. Again, more World War II, World War I. Kind of have this display here is more of the World War II. The bottom shelf is actually part of a gigantic Battle of Bastogne, Battle of the Bulge diorama that we did at the Cantini Park in their museum, actually. So we did it for the Battle of the Bulge commemoration a few years back.
So is everything we've seen here then currently available?
Those are the current kits, and again here this is more of the modern stuff. Same thing, more modern releases. We have most of these in our stores. Some of it's sold out online. That's the beauty of our stores, is that we actually purposefully set aside a good chunk of our inventory that only goes in our stores, as opposed to being available online, because we are making stuff in small batches. We can't possibly make enough for the entire world. It's just, we can't keep up. And the stores always get more stuff. They get stuff purposely set aside. So when we do sell it online, you could go into one of our stores and find some stuff that's maybe out of sold out online, or even out of production. And again, another piece of a diorama. This was a part of a giant Black Hawk Down diorama. Saved a little section of it. So, put all this work into a diorama, and after a few years of traveling around, we will take them apart. But this one in particular, we wanted to save a piece so we remember it. Of course, we'll probably have more updated versions of all this. They were kits at one point, and we'll probably release them again at some point in the future.
Is the dioramas, have you ever sold any larger layout products like that, or is it pretty much always just the individual kits?
People have been interested in them, but they're so valuable to us for parts that we actually recycle them into new things. So a good chunk of the Black Hawk Down diorama is in the Missouri. And same with the Bastogne, or the Battle of the Bulge diorama. We had these big gray buildings, big sections of them, and that was part of our build-up to the Missouri. We're like, oh, we need gray bricks. So in the years until we were ready to build the Missouri, we had all the tiles that we needed. A lot of the pieces went into just temporary, we would consider temporary dioramas.
Sure.
And then those dioramas, of course, would be recycled. On top of this, of course, is the Uss Nikolas. This is my first kind of big warship. This was the practice, the warm-up model for the Missouri. It's now also permanently docked here. It's just sort of whenever we need to have a reference, like we want to see what a Fletcher class destroyer looks like, or we need, hey, we built this before, we come and look at the Nikolas. A lot of techniques that we use now we're being kind of started on this ship. So it helps us. We just did a new model that you will see later. And a lot of the things that we put on the new model were actually modeled off of this ship. So why reinvent the wheel when we've already done it once?
Right, exactly. You can kind of serve as inspiration for future projects.
Yeah, and it's the nature of the beast. You're doing like historic products. It's just like in real life. You don't reinvent the wheel each time. You base it off of what was done in the past. That other ship is based on this ship. So there's a lot of things we didn't have to do again. Of course, the wall of kits. This is a much more compressed wall of kits. If you walked into our Woodfield store, they have a little bit more room to spread out. We will be spreading out in this store. So we've only been open since April, and it was a real mad rush to get the store open, get this space open. And we figured it was enough. We had a big list of things that we're going to do to get the store open, and we got the whole list done. But now we have to go into phase 2 because that was just the bare minimum. We've had some pretty big events in here. We had our grand opening celebration. There were so many people in this room, you couldn't even get in the door.
Wow.
So, and this is a big space. This is 3,000 square feet, and to be that crowded on our opening day was pretty amazing. So
yeah, I imagine you've been in this place for a number of years now, so you probably have a lot of local fans within the area.
And people came from all over the country, actually.
Really?
We let people know about a month in advance, so we had people come up from, we had one family come from the East Coast, some people drove from, I think, Texas. So. Tennessee, yeah. So people did make
dedicated Brickmania fans.
Yeah, and of course the Midwest. You know, we're close enough to Chicago that people will drive, and of course Wisconsin. So this is basically the pattern that all of our stores are going to be following from this point on. If you've been in our mall, you have been to our Mall of America,
yeah.
Been in our Schaumburg store. They're pretty much just retail stores. There's not much space in them. So we got this store. It actually has 4 times the space of our biggest store, more than 4 times. It'll allow us to not only have a big expansive space to do all the retail stuff that we do, but we actually have the whole back area here. One of the things that having a bigger space will allow us to do is to put some of our bigger kits out on display where people can see them, get close to them. And this in particular, this is the PT-109. This is one of our bigger kits. This is the first of our really big kits that we've done in a long time. And Brickmania used to be known for doing big castle sets. And that's sort of behind us because there's only so many people that are going to buy a $3,000 castle kit. So we do a lot of smaller kits, and this is kind of like going back to those bigger mega sets. This is like a 4,500 piece set, and we've gotten bigger since then. Done a few that were as big or bigger than this one. This is our first of our sort of big military kits. We have a couple more that we've done since. If you want to come around the other
sure.
side, this has the PT-109 was my first big kit in a long time, and ever since then we've just kept going. So. Cody, Cody's kind of taken over as the chief of the design department. He put out this fantastic Pavlo helicopter. This is a beast. Let's pick it up, see if I do a nice swooshing angle on it. So check out the tail rotor go while actually I'm doing it backwards. So we like to add details like that. So we have the Pavlo. Another one over here. This is a recent favorite. This is the C-47 Dakota, or this is basically what brought in all the paratroopers into D-Day. In fact, we did this as a homage to D-Day with the invasion stripes, the European invasion.
Yeah,
stripes.
that's kind of the iconic look. I think that a lot of people imagine when they think of these types of planes.
Yeah. So this is our latest mega kit. We have a B-17. We've gotten into these bigger kits. Of course. We're kind of pushing the envelope with how big we can actually get. I think, we're sort of raising the bar all the time, and of course, Lego sees what we're doing and says, "Oh, let's put out a bigger kit." So they came out with a comparable price to, the Millennium Falcon. Sort of like, if Brickmania can do it, we can do it.
Why? I mean,
so.
Show there's a market for it.
Oh, certainly. So, of course, we're leading the way, and of course, in the store we have a huge selection of brick arms. It's just the normal stuff that Brickmania stocks, but on a grander scale. So we have, again, a lot of stuff that, prototypes, the special weapons, the printed weapons and stuff that you can only get online or directly from Brickmania. We have a lot in store that you will not find online.
So you really try to make your physical stores kind of have unique products or something special that if someone comes in there, maybe there's things that aren't available
Absolutely.
elsewhere.
If you travel across the country and come to, I want to go get the Brickmania experience, we're going to have stuff in the stores that you will not be able to find online. It's the nature of it. People always ask, hey, can you ship these from the stores? Like, no, we won't do it because it makes the stores unique.
Right.
We want people to come, not only experience the store, but I want them to walk away from the store. But that was really cool. I was able to get stuff I couldn't get anywhere else, and it was worth the trip. So we have these stories of people who plan their vacations around coming to the Brickmania, either any one of the stores. And since this one's in our headquarters, we call it the GHQ store, and it has to be the most special of all of them. So we'll have tons of figures, just stuff you just can't get anywhere else. And each store is unique. I'm not trying to diminish our other stores. This one still is going to be the biggest
obviously,
and
like
the
you
best.
said, being in the headquarters, you would expect this to be kind of the biggest and best one.
And it's also the guinea pig. Whatever we do here, we'll be able to copy and repeat at the other stores. So we'll be testing out new things here, activities, you name it. This whole back area, we basically have an extra 1,500 square feet. So this area right here in the back room here is space that we can use for pretty much anything. You could fit a second or third store in here. So we had on the opening day, we had some guests in here. We had a Vietnam vet talking about his experience. So we set up the Vietnam diorama just for that weekend, and it stayed. It's been left up ever since because it's such a crowd favorite. We brought it in here, and we will be doing game nights. So we have the games set up here. So this is our micro brick battle game. We have it basically staged so we can have a quick battle if somebody walks in and says, "Hey, what's this?" Well, we can show them how to play around with the game. We do this. We have right now. It's like the third Thursday of the month. We do a free public. Come and play the games. We'll have different scenarios set up. We're going to be doing it more often. It's just a matter of we have to adjust our schedule because we didn't have this up until recently. We didn't have this opportunity to create a space that people could come in. So we're starting it once a month now. We're planning on doing it probably every weekend. We'll have gaming activities. We just need to get the people in here.
That's great. You kind of open up the space and get the public more involved and give them neat opportunities that you can't really do at home.
And we're already lining up events. So we'll be doing later on this summer. We'll be doing a history of Brickmania's Castle Line, and I'll be doing an actual evening event where people come in. I'll do a display like here's how Brickmania got started. Here's what we used to do, and then we'll leave all the models out. So we'll have all the old classic Brickmania models out on display, which a lot of them haven't seen the light of day in more than a decade. So we'll have them out on display. That will rotate to the next store. I'll do the same thing. We'll do a presentation there, and then we'll bring in the next display. So we'll have rotating displays. Nate Flood is going to lend us some of his U-boats. We'll have a U-boat display for a while. That'll rotate through all the stores. So each store will sort of have the same sort of extra space associated with it. You have a retail, plus you'll have
activity area sort
of thing. Game area / exhibit area. This particular store, since this is our headquarters, we did put together kind of a history of Brickmania in the display cases. So there's a little bit of a homage on the top shelf here of some of the early Brickmania kits. There's, of course, the Blacksmith Shop. And this is actually the original model. This is the original Blacksmith Shop. The one behind is Lego's version of it. So you can see they're like 99% the same. So that's my first kit. These are some of the older kit ideas that never made it. That Sherman that's back there, that's one of my original kits. Somebody had two of them and they traded me back for offered to send it back to us. I was like, oh, I'll take that, yeah, for sure. So it's one of my original kits. It's from 2003.
It's a museum piece now.
Yeah. We shrunk wrap it up like it's eventually just going to burst open because it wasn't sealed very well. And then of course we have more books, more of our older models. This is all World War I stuff, and we just put out our second World War I book. So everything on this shelf is all from that book. And the same with the bottom is our first World War I book.
So were you the only one designing the kits in a lot of those early years?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Up until we hired Cody and Yitzy, it was just me. And even then, it was really difficult for me to let go.
I imagine that sort of thing is like.
I had to train them, the two new designers, how to basically do everything I did, And for a long time, I wanted to hold that to myself. I also had to train myself to like let it go,
give them the freedom to kind of be creative and work,
and be confident that they can do it. And they absolutely prove themselves. So, at this point, we have 4 model designers at Brickmania. So it's myself. I consider that my dessert. When I get my job is actually just kind of be the leader of the company. Most of it has to do with opening stores and kind of going to the next level. And the other designers are taking over that for me, and I get to, when my job is done, I get like my dessert is like my treat is I get to design a kit or something.
Yeah.
So, I do about 1 in 5 now at this point. The other designers pretty much you split it up, and the ones I do are usually the easiest because I don't have as much time anymore. So yeah, we have the sort of history. Most of it's World War II, of course, because that's our basic
core product line almost.
Bread and butter, I'd say. And you see a lot of things missing. So right now we're working on a new Pacific Bricks book. So that entire shelf is taken back to our design department where we're rebuilding the instructions, checking them out, testing them. Original Pacific Bricks book in the bottom shelf there. And you'll see stuff missing. The stuff missing is like, this is our library to go. Like when we want to we need a reference. We don't have to build everything from scratch again. We'll come down here and see what's been done in the past. So we have a hole in this one where Andrew took the Panther out of there so he can work on his Jag Panther.
So the books you released, the instruction books, are all instructions for actual kits that you guys sell, or is it?
Yeah, it's stuff that we've sold in the past. So like say something sells out, we can't make it because either a piece isn't available or maybe the demand is waned or we've come up with a better version. So what we do is we'll compile all those old sets into instruction books. And it's easier for one person to buy all the pieces they need off Bricklink or wherever they get their parts. And they can make one, but we can't make 50. So there's just not enough out there. It's not efficient. Or it would be so expensive we can't do it. So therefore people will actually use our models to make, or use our instructions to make individual models. And then of course when you have instructions, you can make them any color, any, whatever you want to do, all kinds of customizations. So this is a little bit more into the Cold War, into Desert Storm era stuff. So again, it's 90% of what you see in this case is former kits, but there's also a lot of one-offs in here. So there are people who come in and go, "You never released that," and it's like, "Yeah, you're right, we never did," and here's the reason. But so someday we'll put a little story in all these display cases. Just don't have the time right now, and I can't unfortunately stand here and tell people what everything is. So.
You can't be the curator and still take everyone through the store.
Yeah. So it needs a little. We have it on display. If you're familiar with Brickmania's kits, or even just military history, you'll recognize a lot of the stuff in here. And then the modern stuff gets its own display case. Of course, everything modern is way bigger. So we actually we're at the point we put everything in here. We ended up trashing about 200 vehicles that we were holding on to. Like, oh, we have 3 versions of this same model. Let's just take an example. So I was in here by myself just smashing models because I knew that if the other employees were here, they would start yelling at me.
It's a painful process to let them go.
Yeah, I'm perfectly fine with it. I see everything as just parts. And an old model is just a new model waiting to happen. So tear it apart and build a new one. And then the last display case is a little bit of more of the Brickmania history. There's a section of trophies. I stopped adding the trophies to the trophy case because it at a certain point it's like, you're just more of the same. And we don't necessarily go to events looking to get trophies. So I don't, like for example, this year I'm going to be the military coordinator for Brick Fair.
Okay.
Therefore, I'm completely exempt from getting a trophy. I don't have to worry about it because I'll be the one nominating the trophies.
You didn't do that to make it easier for you to get trophies?
No, I'm pretty sure I'm not allowed to nominate myself. But, and that's it. I go to a lot of these events and I get put in a position or asked if I will be the person nominating, and I'm perfectly happy with that. I don't do this to collect accolades.
Yeah.
It's for fun. So the stuff down here, this little series of tanks here they were from the original Track Links Kickstarter, the Brickmania Track Links.
Okay.
So we funded it's all memorabilia basically from that. We funded our Track Link mold creation. So we have our own tracks here. These are samples. Through a Kickstarter. We got some made. test. This is actually the first TrackLink mold right there. That those aluminum blocks. That was the test mold. Once that was made, like, okay, we need to get a production mold, and it was ridiculous. It was the price of these molds was so expensive, and rightly so. They're tool steel. Just the cost of the bare metal alone is like $5,000 for the molds.
Wow.
Yeah, it's nuts.
So are those the tracks you still use today then? The ones
We
you
do.
created with the Kickstarter?
Yep, absolutely. We still do the Brickmania track links today. The ones that we did in the Kickstarter, we make so many. We go for like 1 million of them a year.
Wow.
It's insane. And then this onto the right-hand side, it just kind of transitions over into the World War Brick, of course, is our event that we did for several years, and we'll probably still do again. It transitions through that into a bunch of brick arms memorabilia. So lots of classic brick arms kits. So Brickmania is the number one world's largest seller of brick arms accessories. But there's a really long Brickmania brick arms connection. Brickmania was around before brick arms, kind of inspired the whole brick arms thing, and Will was really influential bringing me back from. I stopped doing kits for a few years, and about 5 years, and Will convinced me that I needed to come back. So,
oh, that's great. So you've kind of pushed each other over the years a little bit.
Yeah, and I didn't know brick arms existed until I went to like Brick World and saw them, like, whoa, these are cool. And he's like, yeah, he told me, he's like, you got to come back. People are bootlegging your stuff all over, and you have no idea. So
they're doing it anyway, so you might as well do it.
Yeah. So we have brick arms of various things. There's half of a mold. So I don't know very many people who have any these are injection molds like that Will would use to make his like small run. He gave us half, so it guarantees we couldn't make any bootleg weapons.
Aren't opening up a secret operation.
Yeah, making our own weapons. But there's rare stuff in there. We see stuff before the public does. So will make some new product. He'll send us samples, and sometimes there'll be 3 or 4 iterations of a product before the public ever sees it. And we sometimes will get to see all these things before anybody else does. So there's stuff in this heap here that you can't get anywhere else. It's never even been released to the public, or it wasn't up to Will's standards.
So you got to come into the store and check it out. You can see all this stuff on display.
People come and they beg to trade with me and stuff. So some of those figures, the figures alone, I mean, that was a real major big deal. Those are all handmade figures back in the day where nobody had gotten enough organization or knowledge enough to do their own pad printing and stuff. So Will was actually putting decals on figures, and that was such a revolution back in those days that, even though by today's standards it seems like, oh, that's kind of quaint,
right?
But it was a real revolutionary thing. And of course, there's some of the sci-fi and inspired Brickmania models in this section of the case. We have our family Truckster. The one in the back is signed by Chevy Chase and Bev D'Angelo. Bev came to one of our World War Brick events, a couple of them actually, with her kids, and I was lucky enough to get that autograph by her, and she got it autographed by Chevy Chase too. So can't beat that.
Yeah.
And then the aisle below. So we've done some projects for other people. This being Grove Cranes being one of them. We've done a couple cranes for them. A couple different kits, and we've done like the White Stripes, First Avenue. So we did a set for the White Stripes. They have a video that's all, it's a pretty famous video, all done in Lego, and they had the set of it in their store down in Nashville, and one of our guys said, hey, we can make those for you, and they jumped all over it. So it was available for probably about 2 days on the White Stripes website, and then it sold out. So First Avenue, of course, we did kits for them. We've done just like lots of local things. Pizza Luce is a local chain, pizza chain. We've done some stuff for them, and Electric Fetus is another local record store. I've done a few sets for them. LST 325 down in Evansville. We regularly make figures for them every year, and just something that they put in their gift shop helps them out. So we've done things like that. We have a smattering of the things that we've done. Unfortunately, I don't keep a lot of the stuff. We don't have samples of everything we've done.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so many projects you guys churn out over the years that obviously it's hard to keep track.
And our little Space Race homage on the bottom. So that's a few sets that we've done. There's a few more. We just don't, a lot of times our display copies are still in our stores, so we don't have them back. Of course, the set where we do Brickmania TV.
Yes, so any fans of the Brickmania YouTube channel here,
Yeah.
you can see where they record all the videos.
And I believe you've done a video on this C-130. That's
yes,
right.
we have as well. So
This is Cody's C-130. I can turn it around a little bit. Of course, it's motorized too. I just didn't have the wherewithal to turn it on. But every time we film an episode, we have to pick this thing up and move it.
Still need to work on the dedicated studio space a little bit.
Well, I think the plan for this, in an ideal world, we'll make a kit of this. We are talking to Lockheed Martin about making an actual official C-130 kit, and that seems to be a real possibility. So we can make a full-size kit of it, and I'd like to just donate. This one I would like to donate to our local Air Force Reserve unit here. They fly these out of Minneapolis, St. Paul.
Oh, really? That's neat. So you got kind of a local connection sort of with that.
Yeah, they were nice enough to bring us into give us a tour of their planes and their hangar, and they have a nice little bar in their hangar, and it would make a great centerpiece. So
how often are you guys recording videos then here?
we have one day a week that we dedicate to video production. So we do videos one day a week, but we air them throughout the week.
Yeah.
And then we come back sometimes. We'll do extras. The studio will increase. We'll have multiple sets. We're going to make it like a newsroom in here.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Yeah.
Better lighting. So it's just a matter of time.
Sure.
So, and then people love to be able to come in here. Oh, I see this. There's your set. It's a little plain. We're still like we would like to have something more than just a camouflage net behind us, but for now, it's all we got. So.
Keep working with the space.
Looking to see Landon's reaction. Brickmania TV host right there. Making sure I don't say anything bad.
he's got to keep you in line.
Yeah, that's why they got Dylan. Dylan's the bouncer. And of course, this is the first in Bastogne. This is Cobra King is the name of this tank. This was the first 4th Armored Division tank to reach Bastogne during the Battle of the Bulge. So at World War Brick, one of the final World War Bricks we did in our facility, the Brickmania Toy Works, we put this together. It's been sitting on the wall in our facility for a long time where nobody could see it. So it's finally out into the public because that was only open on once in a blue moon that we let people in there.
Yeah.
So now it's available every day. We have another giant mosaic in there that we have to get out to the public. Fortunately, it wouldn't fit in here because of the pipe coming through the wall. So we'll get another space. And then, of course, the rest of the space is kind of to be determined. We're already filling up our schedule for the fall when we'll do things. Like to get stuff in here for the summer, but the summer's already upon us.
Right. Yeah. There's only so much time.
Yeah. Yeah, and I should point out that we did not plan on having the store. It was this space opened up in the building, and the building management offered it to us, and I was like, yeah, we'll take it because we're able to have the store here, this gigantic store, really nice space, historic building. People know this building, and we jumped on it.
Is this building where you've been since the very beginning? Since
2010, Brickmania's
okay.
been in this building. So almost the last 10 years, we've been in this building. This is a gigantic building, and there's a huge historical significance in this building. The naval guns were built here. 5-inch naval guns were built here right before the war, and then during the war, it was a black site. So they built the Norden bomb site here in secrecy. There's a story about German spies breaking in and stealing the plans of the Norden bomb site from the safe, the vault. And it's funny because the vault is where I go to the gym every couple days. So I'm familiar with the space.
Yes. So we've looked all around the store here, and you've got all these great exhibits and everything. I know you mentioned you've got several other Brickmania stores as well. So talk about some of the kind of challenges of running like a physical Lego space like this, and what that looks like for you guys.
Well, sure. Every store is different. We started out both of our stores were in really big, busy malls. So that adds a little bit more of a challenge. We always have people coming in. They don't know the product. They don't really understand why is this $300. We're sort of getting away from that. And there's always every location's a little bit different. We're going to move the stores that we currently have into bigger spaces like this one. So all the things that you've seen here we'll have to a lesser degree because this is the biggest. We'll have the store, we'll have kind of areas for people to hang out in and do activities. So that's the whole point of having the store like this. So Brickmania is more of an experience than it is we're just selling a product. If we were just worried about the product, we would actually just stick it on the shelf in like Target or something like that. But we are like way above that. We're doing small batches, top shelf, top tier product, and we want you to come in and like get a full explanation of what you're looking at, what you're purchasing, that kind of thing. And so the Brickmania stores are that location. And then also we want to be able to support what we do, have a little bit of history behind it, a little bit of education, and then the activities and of course exhibits will happen as we can roll them out.
Right, that's fantastic. So we've got the main store here in Minneapolis. Where are the rest located for people who might be interested in visiting?
Right now, we are open in Woodfield Mall in Schaumburg, Illinois. That store is moving sometime this summer to another location in Schaumburg, about 10 minutes away, bigger location. Getting away from that really busy mall means we can actually have parking in front, more space, our own bathroom. So
that's a plus.
if you have game night, and people are there for several hours, you want to be able to, they don't have to walk down to the mall's bathroom half a mile away or something. And the same thing, we have a store currently at the Mall of America. That will be closing at the end of the summer. This Mall of America is only 20 minutes from here. So this store actually will be replacing that one. And that Mall of America store will be moving to Chantilly, Virginia. So I just signed the contract on that space. So if you are familiar with Brick Fair, Virginia, that shopping center complex, we actually will have our next store in there. So if you're a regular at Brick Fair, you'll know where it's at. And it's going to be basically what we normally have at one of our stores, except open 7 days a week. All of our stores are open 7 days a week. If you go to brickmania.com, hit locations, it'll tell you where we're at, where the hours are. And unfortunately, I don't have dates for the new stores to be open because that's the nature of, as I'm learning, it's the nature of every time we open a store, each location is different, each city is different, getting licenses, doing everything in the proper channels. It takes a little bit longer than I could just wish it open.
Right, delays are kind of the one thing you can always count on.
There's a little bit of red tape when you're dealing with municipalities, dealing with construction, and right now it's just the way it is. 2 to 3 months to get a new space open, so maybe even longer. But we're hoping to have that Chantilly store open early fall, maybe as early as September 1st, something around there. But we'll see. We don't yet. I can't make a promise until I have more of an understanding of how long that process is going to be.
Yeah, there you go. So anyone going to Brick Fair, Virginia in future years, definitely keep an eye out for that store opening up there.
You can't miss it. It's across the street from Brick Fair. And of course, we are sponsors of Brick Fair. So I will be there. We'll be front and center. It's not like we're pulling out of Brick Fair or anything like that. We will be, as long as they'll have us, we'll be a sponsor of that event. It's our favorite event to go to.
Yeah, and thank you so much for showing us around the store here, Dan. I should mention once again, several of the exhibits that we've showed here, we have more in-depth videos with Dan that we've recorded in the past, so we'll make sure to link those in the description below. So if you want to get more info on any of the main kind of kits or models or dioramas that we showed, definitely look for those more in-depth interviews, and you can get some more info that way. But yeah, it's a great store. Looking forward to seeing what you guys do in the future here.
Yeah,
thank you.
It'll be awesome. Thank you.